morning sunlight spilled across the tiled rooftops of Seville, tonally old city gold. Inside a former monastery on a narrow cobblestone street, the past and the future shared the same walls. The thick stone corridors had once echoed with the footsteps of monks. Now they carried the steady whisper of cooling fans and server racks. In a dimly lit archive room, Elias Navarro sat alone at a long wooden desk worn smooth by centuries of use. His laptop glowed softly in the quiet. Rows of black server towers lined the far wall, their indicator lights blinking like patient stars. Elias preferred working early. The building was quiet then still. History felt easier to hear in silence. He sipped from a small porcelain cup of espresso while scrolling through a set of archived historical databases. Today's task was routine maintenance, the chronology mirror. Every few weeks, the system captured compressed snapshots of thousands of historical records. Government archives, news databases, scientific publications, digital libraries. A frozen moment of human knowledge. A safeguard against corruption or manipulation. Elias reviewed the comparison report. The mirror had flagged a discrepancy. One record differed from its stored version. That happened occasionally. Usually it meant a typo correction or a new update added to a historical article. Still, Elias preferred to verify every anomaly himself. He opened the flagged entry, a historical record from a major international news archive. The article described a famous political speech from decades ago. Elias read it once. Then again, something about the wording felt unfamiliar. He pulled up the chronology mirror version stored on an offline drive, the original loaded beside the live database entry. Elias leaned forward slightly. Both records had the same timestamp, same source, same date, but the speech quote was different. Just a few words, subtle. The sort of change most readers would never notice, but historians noticed everything. Elias checked the edit logs. There were none. No revisions, no updates. The article had supposedly remained unchanged for years, yet the words were different. Elias tapped a few keys, running a broader scan across the database. More discrepancies appeared. A historical date shifted slightly. A statistic altered by a small percentage. A photocal records placed by a slightly different version of the same image. Tiny changes. Barely noticeable, but widespread. Elias frowned thoughtfully. This wasn't corruption. Corruption was messy. This was precise. He opened another dataset, then another. The pattern began forming. Elias turned his chair slowly toward the server rack behind him. For a moment, he simply listened to the quiet hum of machines. His reflection stared back from the dark screen of a powered-down monitor. Interesting, he murmured. He began typing commands quickly now, cross-referencing the timestamps of each discrepancy. The system compiled the results. A timeline appeared across his screen, clusters of anomalies, each cluster occurring within hours of one another. Elias stared at the dates. His brow tightened. The clusters aligned with something else, something he had seen in the news. He opened a browser window and searched a list of recent global headlines. The results appeared instantly. Photographs of strange metallic pillars standing in deserts, forests, and empty fields. Monoliths. Utah, Romania, California. Each appearance had ignited waves of speculation across the internet. Those people believed they were art installations or elaborate pranks. Elias slowly overlaid the two timelines. The anomaly clusters. The monolith appearances. The correlation was nearly perfect every time one of the monoliths appeared. Historical records shifted slightly. Elias leaned back in his chair. For several long seconds he said nothing. Then he reached into a drawer and pulled out a small black notebook. Inside were handwritten notes, observations, oddities he had noticed over the years. On the last page he had written a question several months earlier. Why do some historical details feel wrong? Below it was a list of familiar curiosities, brand names spelled differently, movie lines remembered incorrectly, historical events that seemed slightly out of place, things the internet internet had jokingly labeled the Mandela effect. Elias picked up his pen. Beneath the list he wrote one new sentence. The anomalies coincide with the monolith appearances. He closed the notebook slowly, then turned back to the screen. Somewhere in the world, he realized, someone else had to be noticing this too. Someone who preserved the past the way he did. Someone who might already be searching for the same answer. Elias opened a quiet corner of the internet. An obscure archival research forum used mostly by digital historians and preservation specialists.
He began typing a short message. A careful message, one that would sound harmless to most readers, but unmistakable to the right person. He paused before pressing send, then added one final line. Has anyone else noticed that archived records appear to be changing? Across the Atlantic Ocean, in a small apartment filled with humming hard drives, Naomi Calder's computer chimed softly. A new message had arrived.